Welcome to part 2 of our 3-part tournament to determine which one is the very best international whiskey in the world.
Who's gonna come out on top today? Let's find out.
Yeah!
Get it. All right, for our first battle today, it's gonna be an epic one. We've got High Coast Hav from Sweden.
And Twofold from Starward, Australia. To find out who won from our first video, where India's Amrut Fusion battled Penderin Legend from Wales, and Mexico's Adictivo battled Nelsius from France, click the video above. Right there. Which one is it?
Well, let's play the same direction.
Click the video right above.
Right there. So real briefly, the rules again for this international competition is we are featuring whiskeys from all over the world. However, we're not including anything from Scotland, Ireland, the US, or Japan.
Right now we're featuring countries that are not really known for their whiskeys. My wife is gonna be pouring all the whiskeys. We're not gonna see them. This is gonna be a completely blind test. So that's gonna make it even more interesting because we have absolutely no bias when we're choosing these whiskeys.
We'll vote for our favorites, and in case Eddie and I decide that we like different whiskeys at the end, we'll have a tiebreak in which we'll bring in AI to help us determine who has the highest rating globally. So first up, we have Hav from High Coast in Sweden. Hav is just the Swedish word for sea.
Oh,
Yep.
like,
Not like I can see you, but as in the body of water.
oh, I thought it was like, si senor.
Yes, because that's the language of the Swedes.
Clearly.
Ignorant, you're being ignorant.
This particular version is peated. So one of the reasons we chose this particular brand from High Coast is it won a World Whiskey Award just last year. So we decided, hey, let's give it a try. See how good it is and how it stacks up against other countries. This bottle here is also aged in Hungarian and Swedish oak barrels. And then from there, it's transferred into former Kentucky bourbon barrels. So it's gonna give it a little bit of a sweetness too.
I'm excited to try that.
Yeah.
That sounds good. But I got one thing to say.
Let's hear it.
Oi, oi, oi!
Oh,
So we got Twofold, which is the Australian whiskey. And the reason why it's called Twofold is because it's 60% wheat and 40% malted barley. So it's twofold because it has 2 grains, only 2 grains. So what I love about that is that the wheat generally makes it a little bit sweeter, a little bit softer on the palate than like a rye, for example. So that's something that will make this very unique because you don't see a lot of wheat whiskeys. And this is considered now, because of the 60% wheat, a wheat whiskey. And then it was aged in a sherry cask. And the reason why Starward uses 60% wheat is because wheat is the #1 grain that's grown in Australia.
did not know that.
You know?
So we got our first blind here.
Let's do this. Oh,
Caramel, right off the bat. I get a little bit of cherry in there.
I get plum. Yeah, I get like the dark berries, plum, grapes. Okay, I have an idea of what this is just based on the aging.
Likewise.
Let's see.
All right, let's see if it stands up. That's so smooth.
It's incredible.
That is very, very good.
I'm getting like a dark cherry covered in dark chocolate. You get that sweetness, and then the finish, it kind of lingers a lot. Like
It
that,
does.
That flavor. I feel like it has a really nice long finish that kind of converts into dark chocolate, bittersweet chocolate. That's what I'm kind of getting here.
I'm getting some of that molasses finish, caramel. It's thick. It's really, really good.
Yeah,
Big fan. All right.
I'm a big fan of this one.
Well, that's a good start.
That's a great start. All right, here we go.
Obviously, we knew what the first one was, and this just confirms it.
Yeah.
Because this one is definitely peated. Not as strong as what you would get from typical like Isla scotches, for example. But you can tell it's definitely peated.
Yeah, you definitely get the peat, but it is very subtle. Like I had to put it a lot closer to my nose in order to really get the peat.
Yep, so you get a little bit of that smokiness, a little bit of like seaweed type flavor or smell to it rather.
I definitely get the seaweed, but it seems a little bit more straightforward. So let's go.
All right. That's very well balanced. When I first took a sip, I didn't get any of the peat or smoke, but then when I took a sip, then I got all of it. It was excellent.
Yeah, I feel like you get more of the peat the more it stays in your mouth.
Very well balanced.
Yeah.
Good flavor, not too strong, not overpowering for a peated whiskey, but a lot of good flavor in there.
Very nice. Yeah, you know, I did not think it was going to be as complex as I found it once I tasted it.
Yeah.
Because on the nose, I felt like it was very kind of slightly subtle. But what I did get was just like seaweed and salt and the peat. And I got a little bit of vanilla and sweet notes, a little bit of tartness, but it was kind of mellow. Everything was just mellow. But the flavor, I feel like it's a lot more complex than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
So this is really good. This is going to be a hard one to judge for me.
I know, me too. A is going to be our first tasting, and B will be the second tasting.
Oh, we disagree.
Okay.
Good old ChatGPT. Let's find out what it says.
All right. Well, let's find out first what A was and what B was, just to confirm. So A was Australia.
What I expected, and B was Sweden.
Okay. So Eddie voted for Australia. I voted for Sweden. Let's find out.
All right.
Oh.
Oh, is it bad?
You're not gonna believe this.
They
have the exact same rating.
Oh no!
They are both ranked 94.
Oh my gosh! So what do we do?
Yeah.
This is unprecedented, guys. I did not expect for both of them to be rated the exact same thing, but they were. They both rated 94 out of 100. So we're gonna go by whichever one's cheapest, because if they're both the exact same quality, I think that whatever's cheapest is probably gonna be the best option to go with.
Yep.
And the cheapest one was Starward.
Yep. So Australia wins this round by tiebreaker.
Yeah, a tiebreaker's tiebreaker.
Yeah. So one final note I want to say about this battle is that my wife's best friend from rowing here is from Sweden. And I'm sorry, Helion, that the Swedish whiskey did not move on to the next round, but sometimes that's the way it goes.
This is intense.
Yeah.
And this is our first round. Do you imagine as we go forward? I'm sweating. I'm nervous. This is going to be insane.
I can smell it. All right, so for battle 2, in today's international whiskey battle, we have Belgium versus Israel.
Okay, so M&H Elements is 100% malted barley, but from Israel. So I'm really excited. This is the first kosher distillery in the world. There's more that have followed ever since, but this is the very first kosher one. So I'm very excited to try it. And M&H, do you know, stands for milk and honey, which is a reference to the Bible, and it's the name that they call Israel. It's the land of the milk and honey. So Elements not only won the very best single malt whiskey in the 2023 World Whiskey Award,
Okay.
but it also won in San Francisco in 2024 the double gold. So this
no kidding.
Yeah. So this is a good one.
Boy, this is going to be a good competition because here we have the Gouden Carolus from Belgium. This one is actually from the mash of the Gouden Carolus beer, which is a triple beer from Belgium. Triple beers typically higher in alcohol volume, got sort of a fruity, citrusy flavor to it. So I'm interested to see how that affects the taste of this particular whiskey. So one of the things I also found interesting about this particular whiskey is that it's also aged in an anchor oak barrel, which are smaller than your standard oak size barrel. And they do that so that it has more interaction with the oak barrel itself, trying out to pull stronger flavors. So we'll see if that has any influence on it, but I've never seen any other one aged in a smaller oak barrel like this one before.
Looks like a good competition. I cannot wait to try them both. We're gonna have my wife pour some whiskeys in here, and we will see you in just a second.
All right, here we go. All right, let's see what we get here.
Okay, so to me, I get sherry cask on this one. And one thing that I didn't mention about Elements is that it's aged in a sherry cask. So I could be wrong, but this
Clues?
to me,
Clues, follow the clues. I'm getting a little bit of banana in this one.
yeah. Actually, now that you mentioned banana,
Stop copying me.
Stop copying me!
Oh, that's super interesting.
yeah.
So to me, that actually tasted like a beer on the way down.
100%. But like beer with like a high alcohol content. Like this is strange.
Yeah.
And you know it's crazy because when I smelled it, I got a lot more floral and fruitier notes. And now all I get is just beer with alcohol.
Yeah.
More alcohol.
I'm still getting the banana on the taste and maybe a little bit of clove, but I could definitely, it's very strong of beer.
Yeah.
but not in a bad way. Like it's just different. Nothing like I've ever had before.
Yeah, no, it's definitely unique. And for somebody who doesn't like beer, which is me, I was very surprised that I enjoyed it, especially in the first sip. I get banana, I get cacao nibs.
I definitely enjoyed that one though.
I did as well.
So if there was ever a whiskey meets beer collision, it was in that glass right there.
Yes. I'm surprised I liked it.
Yeah.
This is very good.
So now on to number 2.
On to number 2.
Here we go.
I got a little bit of peat. I got a little bit of smokiness on this one.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Getting almost red wine flavors in this one.
Yeah. This to me smells more like a single malt.
Mm-hmm.
Like a single malt whiskey. Like a scotch.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah. This to me seems a lot more straightforward. Like if you're wanting to have a scotch, this to me reminds me of a scotch.
Yeah. It's not super complex, like in its taste, but everything that's in there works very well together.
Mm-hmm.
The sherry, the almost vanilla notes that I'm getting at the end there too. Really, really well done. Yeah, you know, the longer it sits, the more like a little bit of spice I'm getting on there too. Peppery.
I'm gonna say I really enjoyed this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great sipping single malt, I would guess. Without looking at the names yet, I don't know what I'm drinking, but I'm assuming that this one is the one from Israel.
Yep.
I really liked it a lot, but I do feel like it's a little bit more traditional than the previous one that we tried.
Yep.
All right, the moment of truth.
And A was
There you go.
Belgium.
Which is crazy. Israel won all these awards. It was great, but to me it was very straightforward.
Yeah.
It was very, once you have it, it's like, it just reminds you of every other scotch.
Yeah.
So I really like the uniqueness of the Belgium. Definitely recommend picking that up if you want to try something different. If you like beer, I don't even like beer, but I was very surprised by the flavor of this one. And it tasted like beer with a higher alcohol content.
Yeah. Just goes to show if you're doing research on whiskeys or bourbons and they've won a lot of awards, sometimes that might not mean a whole lot to you once you start drinking it. And I would like to give a shout out to our friends Raf and Ellen from Belgium. Congratulations, you're moving on to the next round.
When am I going to get to give a shout out here?
You gotta start meeting people from other countries.
I'm very isolated. I don't have friends.
To recap today's battles, we had Australia versus Sweden, and we had Belgium versus Israel. So Australia and Belgium are going to be moving on to the semifinals, where they'll go head-to-head with the other semifinal between Mexico and India.
And that's when we're going to determine who is going to have the best international whiskey in the world. It's going to be a hell of a battle.
Yeah. So make sure you stay tuned to the third part of this video, which we will link up here.
So have you guys tried any of these whiskeys? We would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below. We would love it if you liked, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe so you can find out when we're releasing some more.
And if you happen to be watching this from one of the countries that we tested from, let us know what other ones from your country we should be trying to. Join us for the conclusion in our next video.
Cheers.
Cheers.